Yeah. So this is our control room. This is kind of Grand Central Station.
Now, all this stuff in here, you've just collected over the years as a musician. Is it a combination of people's stuff, or
this stuff is all? Yeah, this is all my gear in here, and then I have a mix room in LA where the rest of my gear lives. More of the mix-centric stuff. This is we do a lot more tracking here, but yeah, this is all mine. This is one guitar pedal at a time since I was 10 years old with allowance money. You know? This is just a lifelong thing of collect. I mean, there's pedals here I have that I have actually had since I was 10. The Big Muff that we're using on the Halo session, I bought new at Guitar Center, and I guarantee you it is considered vintage on Reverb.
Oh yeah.
That tells you anything about how old I am. So, yeah, this has been kind of a lifelong pursuit, and I'm a drummer myself. I've played in bands for years, toured, and yeah, so essentially this is all really from the core kind of grown out of my desire to be able to make my own music, record my own bands, start recording your friends' bands, your friends' bands tell their friends' bands, and it kind of all bloomed from that. It looks like a lot of stuff, but it's been 25 years, so. We have kind of like a big live open room where the control room's in the room with musicians. We like working that way because it's kind of immediate and visceral, and honestly, you spend 80% of the time in the control room, so it's nice to have the big room for the band to hang. But yeah, this is sort of the main console right here.
Sure.
My sort of workflow over here is very much based on normaling a lot of gear that I use all the time, so I don't have to patch. It's super quick to just throw inputs into Pro Tools or to the tape machine. This is kind of like the tracking side of this mastering desk. Bunch of 500 series pre's that are normaled in the patch bay to each of these EQs that you see below. So I kind of think of these as channel strips here. These are kind of our go-to drum front end. AMLs into the 2254s, Cappies, Abatis, APIs, SSL, all the fun stuff.
Like 10 channels here, right?
Yeah, 10 at the top that are each normal to each of these. So for this week, I mentioned we're working on the Halo score. I'm playing drums on that. So this is kind of our main front end for kick in, kick out, snare top, snare bottom, rack floor, overheads that normal to these corresponding pre's, which we've kind of put in the positions that we. It's kind of like little bespoke channel strips, essentially. Yeah. I come from like the console world. I grew up working on consoles and tape, and I just like having stuff normaled where it's, I think about it like just having like a little console, like a little sidecar. There's more front end over here, and it's kind of the same idea. Everything's pre's normal to EQs.
What are these weird green things here?
Yeah, the green, this came out of a console that is actually, it's like deeply personal for me. This was the console at the studio that I came up in Dallas, which is called Summit Burnett Studios. It's where Bob Wills recorded all his records. Rolling Stones did Sticky Fingers pre-pro there. James Brown recorded there. It's huge. 2 echo chambers. I mean, you could put choir and orchestra in that studio. Giant. 9 rooms in the facility.
Oh.
So I came up as a tape op, sitting in the corner by the tape machine. But yeah, this was the console in the studio for about 25 years. And it's based on the Melcore 1731 op amps, and which is kind of like the predecessor to the API 2520. Really special piece to be able to have this kind of like piece of personal history for me.
Yeah.
The Echo Send was modded to be an output fader, so you can hammer the input and have some attenuation on the back end. Sounds really cool.
How did you wind up getting that?
Yeah, that is a very bizarre story. A friend of mine who is a front of house touring front of house engineer for my band, Other Lives, he just kind of casually mentioned that he on a whim just bought these very strange green preamps. And I was like, huh, were they from a console? He's like, yeah, it's like this crazy super ugly Formica green console. I was like, are you kidding? Do you have a picture? And he pulled it up and I was like, I cannot believe you ended up with these. And I told him the story and he was like, oh, well, these have to be yours.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got
man.
handed down. Thank you, Dave Gomez. Actually, one of the original engineers from Summit Burnett came down. He's based in Austin. He came down and came to visit to come take a look, and he definitely teared up a little bit
Yeah,
when he saw
dude.
those. He's like, I can't believe these still exist.
And then I just noticed you have these 500 radials here for inserting so you get pedals and then for the Space Echo, right?
Yeah, we love tape echoes. We love using pedals on tracking and for mixing. So it's really handy to be able to just have those kind of keyed up. We have all of our effects normaled in Pro Tools. So there's 24 outs over here that just are normal to all the reverbs, tape echoes, to the EXTCs. And that means we can kind of work in Pro Tools with analog stuff and be able to just kind of almost think of it like a plugin.
Yes.
It's just as quick. Just throw up a send and throw up a return track and print it, and then it's nice because you go into a mix and you've already got all these cool effects printed and nice stuff to play with. Pedals are also incredible now. So there's stuff that like this Death by Rooms or the Empress Reverb. There are sounds that those things do that no plugin. Nothing can touch that. There's just, it's like high quality studio effects in pedals now. Really, it's ultimately about efficiency. So we can just work quick, use all this stuff without it being a hindrance.
Yeah.
Because analog it takes time and it's more effort and you got to patch stuff and you got to do all that stuff. I'm just basically trying to combat all of our own laziness.
Yeah.
It's been 100 times I pull up a Space Echo plugin. I'm like, like looking at one right next to me, like, come on, let's just make it to where I cannot be lazy, where it is actually just as easy to pull up the plugin.